Well, just like the weather, everybody talks about a zombie apocalypse, but no one does anything about it. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and we want to talk to you about this outbreak of the quarantine zone. And the quarantine zone I'm referring to is YouTube. YouTube has been censoring conservative content, and they've been doing it in a number of ways. One of the ways they do it is to make sure that their algorithms look for words that conservatives would use, like honor and integrity and, fairness, things like that, and suppress those videos from spreading. Just suppress it. Another way that they can do it is they can do what they've done to Prager University and their videos about, the Korean War maybe, or the Electoral College, inflammatory statements like that. They can also say that you must be 18 or older in order to view this content. Well, meanwhile, of course, there's Call of Duty screen plays, gameplay that's just people being eviscerated, and that's not a problem. And another thing they can do is they can demonetize somebody's account. Alfonso Rachel, who we both worked with and admired greatly, has basically said, no, that nobody even knows I'm there anymore. And Alfonso pointed out what I thought was the most interesting point of all. They demonetized his entire channel. Wow. Alfonso said this. Zoe said, if they were to censor me and not post my videos, then that would be a story and people would want to see the videos. But if they suppress them, they don't get many views. And that makes them look boring. And it makes me look boring. And that's how it works. So we're having an entire month where we are trying to basically do something about this zombie apocalypse of left-wing thinking inside the YouTube quarantine zone. So we are running this month of Blocktober because these swine will quarantine us, and they will keep these ideas away, but they'll also take our money. And we have to now buy advertising space for videos that we used to just get shared organically. Yeah. So let me just say this. The right angle shows that we do, I watch the numbers relatively closely. It's never less than 7,000, 8,000. It's often 15 or 20,000, sometimes even higher than that. That's more members than we have. So I would simply say this. In a time when the left is reflexively doing everything they can to simply annihilate our message, the reason they're doing that is because it's working. And now is the time that we really need you to be on this team of zombie slayers. Scott, not just YouTube, Facebook is an interesting case. The director of marketing for Prager University said that they have something like 1.2 million likes, wow. and that when they post a video, the video goes out to 2%. 2% of the people that like Prager University specifically to see the videos. 2% of them get it on their wall. So what do we do about this kind of thing?
Well, I mean, it's a private business. They're free to control the business any way they wish. And, the argument is always, well, why isn't there sort of a right-leaning alternative to that? Well, they didn't start these enterprises as left-leaning social media groups. There were just leftists who started them, and they made it possible for that to happen. Some of you may remember there used to be a social media platform called Google+. I say there used to be because they banned me. Google+ banned me. I have no idea why. I violated their terms of service. Now, the only thing I ever did on Google+ was post links to our videos, basically. And occasionally to a, smartphone that I liked. And so, and I can't get back in. I don't know why. I actually read an entire book by Guy Kawasaki about how to use Google Plus for social media marketing and stuff like that. And I can't use it because I posted something that they didn't like. And I saw that one of the videos that they've demonetized from Right Angle is one of the shows that I hosted. So this is personal now. And I'm upset
on Venezuela, by the way.
What's that?
It was just about the situation in Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it was a story about a liberal reporter who went to Venezuela.
Oh, that was a great segment.
And
that's right.
And discovered that socialism
profanity.
Has some negative byproducts.
Yeah, no profanity and no graphic images, nothing.
A brief nudity on my part, but other than that...
Yes, but it was tasteful and necessary to the plot.
It was, exactly. It was totally driving the character arc. I'm frustrated because, on the one hand, we, sadly, have become dependent upon this channel provided by our ideological opponents. And we have not been able to muster something. And anytime somebody starts something that's sort of like, right book, it always turns out to be a piece of junk that's filled up with nothing but like the worst sort of Twitter trolls, and people immediately abandon it. Yeah. So, this is one of those, we usually try to come up with solutions on this show here. But in this case, I'm just upset. I feel like there's not much I can do about it, and I'm open to suggestions.
Steve, both Google, Facebook, and YouTube have taken a fair amount of heat about this, and they've issued statements about, we're going to review our policies and so on. Somebody leaked to the Prager people that one of the guys who worked there, who's a big liberal but nevertheless has some shred of human dignity left, said, no, we just arbitrarily make a decision. It's not like robots or anything. We'll block a video here, or make it 18 or plus, and then somebody else will take our video and upload it to their website where they get 8,000 views instead of 800,000 views, and it's not being blocked there. So it's not an algorithm. This tells me something, and what it tells me is that if business executives are willing to take heat and take a publicity hit all across the tech spectrum, that they wouldn't do it unless it was worth it. And that to me says that they think that these messages are becoming so effective that they are beginning to lose the control over the minds of the people who live inside that barbed wire quarantine zone. Common sense, forget right-wing stuff. Common sense shall not be allowed on YouTube, and especially not to people who are under 18.
Yeah, look, you've got the huge tech companies, the real big boys. You've got Google, that's owned by Alphabet. We'll just say Google, which includes YouTube. You've got Apple, you've got Amazon, you've got Facebook. I don't worry too much about Amazon and Apple. If Apple gets too big for its britches, they just make gadgets. I can always switch to a different platform. I've done it before. I can do it again. Amazon, right now, all over the news this week is Walmart is finding all new ways to compete with Amazon by making their customers even happier, and I love to see that. But Facebook and Google are kind of unique in that they are these huge networks that for a lot of people, those two companies are the internet. They either see their news feed on Facebook or their search results on Google or their videos on YouTube, and that is pretty much the internet for them. And therefore it's the only way we have to broadcast this message. So even though I have some serious let's call them philosophical qualms with antitrust law, I think we've got to rein these guys in with antitrust. We've got to rule that Facebook and Google are common carriers and that they have to give equal priority to everything and everybody. And if you're going to monetize one kind of content that's political, you have to monetize all kinds of content that is political in nature. That's the way it has got to be because these guys are absolutely crushing us. Now, I don't know, antitrust legislation or court cases take years is how long they take to drag out. So I'm not counting on change anytime soon, and especially since no action is being taken yet. But until that day, we have to rely on our viewers. We have to rely on our viewers and their checkbooks, and we have to rely on their viewers and their checkbooks and getting their friends in. Otherwise, they're going to stamp this out just like they're trying to stamp out the flame of liberty, Bill.
They've stamped out Alfonso Rachel. His friends think he died, and I'm not exaggerating.
That is
and that's an amazing. It's an amazing voice.
Yes.
Look, I remember very early in this game of ours, this internet commentary thing. I think it was Jeremy Boring said, the problem is that TV is free and the internet is free, so why should I have to pay for TV on the internet? But this is the future. This is the future. This is how the future is going to look. And this is essentially the only way that we can circumvent these built-in barriers and biases of the mainstream media. So I'm going to say something I don't think I've ever said before, but I kind of need to say it now because this is important. There are thousands and thousands of people who watch this show on a weekly basis who aren't paying for it. And there are a small number of people who are paying for it and making it available to everybody, including all of the other videos that we do. And I would just simply ask you to consider that and see if that's consistent with your values. Forget the values of capitalism. Is it consistent with your belief that these messages can help save the country by providing the common sense alternative view to people that just simply makes everything the left say fall apart? They have to paper up all the windows. That's how you keep the darkness in. And we need your help in order to let some light into this room and let some of those poor brain dead zombies out of that YouTube quarantine zone. So we'll be talking to you about this all through Blocktober. But if you want to help us out and help yourself out and help the country out, then you can go to the membership page on the link below. Thank you very much for those of you who have been paying for this all this time, and especially thanks to all of you for considering this case, because we know what America is, and we're doing our very best to save it, and we can only do what we have the resources to do. And as it turns out, that's a lot. They have George Soros, and we have you. And I know which one I'd rather have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.